The scent of cinnamon wafted through the air as Amelia strolled through the bustling Grand Oak shopping mall, her favorite escape from the mundane. The mall was alive with laughter, the cheerful sounds of shoppers chatting, and the distant melodies of a string quartet playing in the atrium. It was the perfect place to unwind, especially with the holiday season fast approaching. But today felt different. An unshakable chill brushed against her skin as she entered the mall. It was still early, but the crowds felt unusually thin, and the energy that typically buzzed through the air felt dampened. Amelia dismissed her discomfort as she adjusted her oversized scarf and moved toward the nearest store. Charmed trinkets. She had a penchant for unique jewelry, and she was determined to find the perfect gift for her sister's birthday. Inside the store, a soft bell jingled as she stepped in, announcing her presence. The walls were lined with glimmering necklaces, colorful gemstones, and intricate trinkets. Amelia browsed through the displays, captivated by a silver locket that seemed to shimmer under the soft lighting. Just as she reached out to pick it up, a shiver ran down her spine. The shop was empty, but she felt as though someone was watching her. "Can I help you?" A voice broke through the silence, causing her to jump. She turned to find a tall, pale man with dark hair and an unsettling smile standing behind the counter. His eyes seemed to glint with a hint of something sinister, and she quickly pulled her hand back. "Oh, just browsing," Amelia replied, forcing a smile. The man nodded slowly, his gaze lingering a moment too long. Feeling a rush of unease, she excused herself and left the store, deciding to explore the rest of the mall. As she wandered through the atrium, she noticed the string quartet had stopped playing. An eerie stillness had descended, as if the mall itself was holding its breath. She glanced around. The once bustling corridors now seemed desolate, with only a few people scattered here and there, all looking as lost as she felt. Her heart raced as she turned down a narrow hallway that led to the food court. A strange sense of foreboding washed over her. Amelia pushed through the glass doors, expecting the vibrant sounds of sizzling food and chatter, but was met with silence. The lights flickered, and a sense of claustrophobia began to settle in. She quickly scanned the area. The food stalls were empty, and a cold draft whispered past her. "Is anyone here?" she called out, her voice echoing eerily against the walls. The only response was the distant sound of a single door creaking open somewhere in the shadows. Against her better judgment, Amelia decided to investigate, driven by a mix of curiosity and fear. As she approached the sound, she noticed a door labeled "Employee Only." Hesitating for a moment, she pushed it open, revealing a dimly lit hallway. Flickering fluorescent lights overhead buzzed menacingly, and a strange smell of decay hung in the air. Her heart thudded in her chest as she ventured further inside, drawn by an unseen force. At the end of the hallway, she found herself in what appeared to be an old storage room. Boxes were piled haphazardly, and the air felt thick with dust. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her, and Amelia whipped around, panic rising within her. She rushed to the door, but it wouldn't budge. "Hello? Is anyone there?" she shouted, pounding on the door, but her cries were swallowed by the oppressive silence. She turned back to the room, her heart racing. Just then, she caught a glimpse of something in the corner of her eye, a shadow flickering just beyond the boxes. "Who's there?" she demanded, stepping cautiously forward. As she approached, the shadow transformed into a figure, a girl who looked no older than 15. She wore tattered clothes, her hair matted and wild, and her eyes held a haunting emptiness. "Help me," the girl whispered, her voice trembling. "They're coming for me." Who's coming?" Amelia asked, her instincts screaming at her to run. The girl pointed towards the back of the room, and as Amelia turned, she felt a rush of cold air sweep past her. It carried a low, sinister whisper that sent chills down her spine. "They're coming," the girl repeated, her voice rising in pitch. "We need to hide." Just as the girl's warning sank in, the door creaked open, revealing the pale man from the jewelry store. His unsettling smile was gone, replaced by a predatory grin. "There you are," he said, his voice smooth and sinister. "I've been looking for you." Amelia's heart raced as she backed away from the approaching figure. "Stay away from us," she shouted, but the girl beside her only trembled in fear. The man stepped closer, his gaze fixed on Amelia, as if she were his next prize. "Don't you see?" he taunted, his voice dripping with malice. "You're part of the game now." In a flash, Amelia turned to the girl. We need to get out of here. She grabbed the girl's hand and dashed toward the far wall, hoping to find another exit. But the room was closing in, and shadows began to swirl around them. The girl pulled her closer, urgency flashing in her eyes. We have to go deeper. They can't find us if we go down. Without waiting for a response, she led Amelia toward a hidden trapdoor in the corner, which creaked open with a loud groan. They tumbled down into a darkened tunnel, the cold air biting at their skin. The faint sound of footsteps echoed above them as they crawled deeper into the darkness. They won't follow us here, the girl said, her voice trembling. What do you mean? Who are they? Amelia gasped, her mind racing. They take people. They lure them in, just like you, the girl explained, glancing back toward the dim light above. I thought I could get away, but I was wrong. You're not safe here. We need to keep moving. The tunnel twisted and turned, leading them further away from the mall's light. As they crawled, Amelia felt the walls closing in, the weight of fear heavy on her chest. Suddenly, the ground beneath them began to shake, and Amelia's heart raced. What's happening? She shouted, panic surging through her. They're coming, the girl cried. We have to hurry. With a newfound determination, they pressed on, the echoes of footsteps fading behind them. Finally, they reached a small, dimly lit chamber. In the center stood an old, rusted door. The girl reached for the handle, her hands trembling. This is it. If we can get through, we might escape. Amelia nodded, her heart pounding, as they both pushed against the heavy door. With a loud creak, it swung open, revealing a dimly lit alleyway behind the mall. Fresh air rushed in, filling their lungs with a sense of freedom. As they stumbled outside, the bright lights of the mall shone like a beacon. They turned to look back, but the entrance was shrouded in darkness, the eerie whispers of the mall now a distant memory. Amelia felt a weight lift from her shoulders as she stepped into the night, knowing they had escaped. But as she glanced back one last time, she couldn't shake the feeling that the mall would never truly let them go. The echoes of laughter faded into silence, leaving only the haunted whispers lingering in her mind. And somewhere in the depths of the Grand Oak shopping mall, the pale man stood watching, waiting for his next unsuspecting victim.